Hello, so we are working on Module 1, Lesson 9. Hopefully you have already listened to the learning target and the instructions on page 1. So now you should be on page 2. And page 2 is working on the problem set. And I also added manipulatives in there for you to click on and drag around as you're working on your problems, okay? So this is going to be like this chart right here that I drew in is going to be like the place value chart that I put on page 2. And then I'm just going to be using my markers to be adding in the discs as we need them. You, on your ClassKick assignment, you are able to click on each place value discs, the blue ones and the red ones, and then drag them into the place value that you need them for how many you need, okay? So now, let's look at problem 1. So problem 1, you have A through I. You do need to answer all of A through I. I'm only going to be showing you a few of these, but I'm going to read all of them to you. So number 1, A through I says solve. And then write the sum in standard form. Use a place value chart if necessary. So for example, we have A says 1/10 plus 2/10 equals blank tenths equals blank. So this is what it means by then write it in standard form. So first we need to solve it. So we have 1/10 plus 2/10. So here's the place value chart that you would be dragging around. So I'm starting with 1/10. So one disc is one value, one digit, one 1/10. I mean, sorry, not 1/10. So I put one disc in the tenths place. And then I'm going to add to that 2/10. So with the different color, I'm going to do 1, 2, just below it, just like that. So now I'm going to add up, I'm going to count up how many total tenths are there. So there's 1, 2, 3. So 3/10. So now 1/10 plus 2/10 equals 3/10. The word is already there for you, so in that blank, you're just putting in the number 3, okay? Now, you've solved it, now you need to write it in standard form. So that just means as a decimal. So 3/10 looks like 0.3. Or it can be decimal 3, 0.3, both of those are correct. Okay, so now let's do B. So I'm going to erase these because I have a new problem to work with. On your place value chart, you would just click on them and drag them around. You can take them all off or leave some and then take some, and however you see that it's going to be easiest for you. So now B says 14/10 plus 9/10. 14/10 plus 9/10. I see that both of those have the same value. So you can just add 14 plus 9, and that will give you your total tenths. On your place value chart, you may not have enough discs to do 14 plus 9, but you may. So here's what I'm going to do. 14/10. I know that 10/10 is equal to 1 whole. So if I have 14/10, that would give us 1 1 and then 4 more tenths over here, okay? So then we're going to add to that 9/10. So now with my different color of place value discs, I'm going to add 9/10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now I'm going to count up how many total tenths there are. So remember, 1 1 is 10/10, okay? So we could say 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So that gives us 23/10, okay? Oops. So now I'm going to put that here, 23/10, but it's asking you, or sorry, I skipped a spot. So that would equal 23/10. So you just put the 23 in that number, And then you would break it apart into the ones and tenths, because that's going to help you to see how to write it as the decimal form. So if I have 23, I can take 10 from here and create another 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to take all of these and create 1, 1. Okay? So I've technically exchanged these for a 1. So I have left over 3 tenths. So now do you see how that's 2 ones, 3 tenths, 23 tenths? So that's why in the blank right here you have 1 tenth. So you have 2 ones, 3 tenths. So you have a 2 for your blank here, a 3 for your blank here, and then write it in standard form. So that would be 2 decimal 3. Okay? So that's A and B. Next you have C. C says 1/100th plus 2/100ths. So how many total hundredths is that? So just put that digit in the blank box and then write it as a decimal in the next box. So then D, 27/100ths plus 5/100ths. So add those up. So that would be a total of how many hundredths? And then you need to move them over, because 10/100ths is equal to 1/10. So if you have more than 10/100ths, how many hundredths can you take out to make a tenth? So if you have 10 tenths, if you have 10/100ths, take 10/100ths and then move them over to make a tenth. If you still have more and you have enough 10/100ths to make a tenth, take 10/100ths and move them over. Okay? So then you would have blank tenths and blank hundredths. So how many tenths and how many hundredths does that make? And then that is equal to what in standard form? So write it as a decimal. So then E, 1,000th plus 2,000ths equals blank thousandths. So write in the number of how many total thousandths that is. So then that would equal to, what does that look like as a decimal? Write it in the blank. So then we have F. So F says, let me erase here first. I'm just using my finger. Okay. F says 35 thousandths plus 8 thousandths equals blank thousandths, okay? So you can think about just 35 plus 8. So that would give us 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. Sorry. So 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. So that would be 43 thousandths. Okay, so you can write right here 43 thousandths. And then, so plug that in for your blank right here. So that's 43 thousandths. So 10 thousandths is equal to 1/100th. So if we have 40 thousandths, how many hundredths does that make? That would give us 4 hundredths with 3 thousandths left over, right? Okay, so now you would plug that in for your blanks over here. So that is equal to 4 hundredths, 3 thousandths. So then you would need to write that as a decimal, as in standard form, as a decimal. So I have decimal. Do we have any tenths? No, we don't. So that would be a 0 for your placeholder, and then 4 hundredths and 3 thousandths. Just like that. Or it can be 0.43 thousandths. Okay, that's F. Next is G. So G says 6 tenths plus 3 thousandths. So that would give us, if you're using your place value discs, 6 tenths. So 6 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 3 thousandths. So all the way over here, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I should have done that in a different color. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3. There we go. 6/10 plus 3/1000. So, if we have starting with 6/10 and then you add 3/1000 to it, you're not adding tenths to it, you're not adding hundredths to it, you're adding 3/1000 to it. So now, total, how many thousandths is that? So we have 6/10, 0 hundredths, 3/1000. So we would have a total of 603 thousandths. So you would plug that in right here, 603, sorry, you can't see that, 603 thousandths, okay? Then write it in standard form. So just how it looks on your place value chart. So we have 0 ones, decimal, 603 thousandths. So 0 decimal 603 thousandths. Okay, so then you have H, 7 ones, 2 tenths, plus 4 tenths. So draw that in your place value chart. 7 ones, 2 tenths, plus 4 tenths. So that would equal how many total tenths? So if you have 7 ones, 2 tenths, and then you're going to add 4 tenths to it, that would be a total of 70 something tenths, and then write that as a decimal, your total, okay? So I says 2 thousandths plus 9 ones, 5 thousandths. So show that on your place value chart, add them together. Sorry, I need to erase. So 2 thousandths, 9 ones, plus 9 ones, 5 thousandths. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then plus 5 thousandths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then add them together and then write your total thousandths. So this one's going to be a big number because you'll have 9 ones, 0 tenths, 0 hundredths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 thousandths. So you would have 9, 0, 0, 7. So you have 9,007 thousandths, okay? Then write that in standard form. So that just means you need to plug in your decimal. Okay, so next we have problem number 2, A through D. Solve using standard algorithm. So that just means you're just lining up your place values and then adding. So problem A, B, and C, you have just the standard, you have just the equation written across. What I did for you is I went in and I lined it up vertically for you. So I'm going to do D together with you. So we have 57 and 3 hundredths plus 2 and 8 hundredths. So you line up your hundredths, line up your tenths, line up your 1, line up your 10. So now we add. So 8 plus 3, 11. So 1, carry the 1. 1 plus 0 plus 0, 1. Don't forget your decimal would go here because it's right after the tenths place and the ones place. So now 7 plus 2, 9. 5 plus 0, 5. So 59 and 11 hundredths. So then you would plug that in over here. So make sure you do the same for problems A, B, and C, and then you are all done. Good job. I'm very proud of you.